Hey guys, welcome to the Curious Pug. Is anyone here a fan of Forged in Fire? Because I sure am. Throughout the show's 7 seasons they showed us various deadly weapons, even I thought didn't exist, but then again there are some weapons they didn't introduced into the Forge. Today, we'll be looking at some ancient and deadly weapons that served its purpose in the past, but the famed weapon making competition show didn't introduced into the Forge. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the Curious Pug and ring the bell icon to get notified about our latest updates. Without further ado, let's get straight to the video.
Number 9. Nundy Bow. The Nundy Bow is a traditional Okinawan spear with hooks. This weapon was originally developed from a fisherman's gaff. This weapon can be found in the Kobudo training and weapons training of many different karate styles. However, the Nundy Bow is less utilized than other better-known Kobudo weapons such as the bow, nunchaku, sai, etc. The central staff has 2 prongs, one facing away and one facing toward the opponent. It can be used to spear, strike, or hook the opponent with the backward prong. It is thought to be a fisherman's tool, where the point could be used to stab the fish. The inward hook of the Nundy Bow was used to pull nets in the boats when fishing, the outward-facing hook to push their boats off from the dock. Because it was a tool, these fishermen were allowed to carry and use it during the years where weapons were banned by their Satsuma overlords. These men had a very effective weapon for dealing with rogues and bandits. Furthermore, when up against the samurai, due to the length and the fact it had the manji sai on one end, it was very advantageous defending against these sword-wielding men. Number 8. The bill hook. The bill hook is a polearm weapon used by infantry in medieval Europe. The bill is similar in size, function and appearance to the halberd, differing mainly in a hooked blade form. Other terms for the bill include English bill, and the bilgisarm. Derived originally from the agricultural bill hook. The bill consisted of a hooked chopping blade with several pointed projections mounted on a staff. The end of the cutting blade curves forward to form a hook, which is the bill's distinguishing characteristic. Number 7. The sai. The sai is a traditional meal weapon used in Okinawa. The basic form of the weapon is that of a sharp metal prong with 2 curved side prongs projecting from the handle. There are many different types of sai with varying prongs for trapping and blocking. Before its arrival in Okinawa, the sai was already being used in other Asian countries including India, Thailand, China, Vietnam and Malaysia. In Okinawa, the sai was used by domestic police to arrest criminals and for crowd control. Use of the sai in Japanese martial arts was improved in 1668 by Moto Chohei, an Okinawan prince. The sai is typically used in pairs, with one in each hand. The style includes a variety of blocks, parries, strikes, and captures against attackers all directions and height levels. Sai is typically made from metal. The main blade usually has a round cross-section, but it could also be faceted. The point is normally very blunt. Handle is usually wrapped in cord or leather to provide grip. Traditionally sai was made by a gunsmith, but it was simple enough for any blacksmith to make. By pressing the blade against the forearm, masters could defend themselves against slashes. Number 6. The flail. A flail is a weapon consisting of a striking head attached to a handle by a flexible rope, strap, or chain. The chief tactical virtue of the flail was its capacity to strike around a defender's shield or parry. It was primarily considered a peasant's weapon, and while not common, they were deployed in Germany and Central Europe in the late Middle Ages. The haft is usually shown as approximately 4 feet long and the head can be a smooth metal sphere or a somewhat geometric shape, with some variants covered in spikes. The chain also varies, sometimes being no more than a few links to form a hinge, while others exceed the length of the haft and are several feet long. Artwork from the 15th century to the early 17th century shows most of these weapons. The European flail is a shorter weapon consisting of a wooden haft connected by a chain to one or more roughly spherical striking ends. Modern works variously refer to this particular weapon as a military flail, mace and chain or chain mace, and sometimes erroneously label them as simply a mace or morning star. Number 5. The kama. The kama is a traditional Japanese farming implement similar to a sickle. Used for reaping crops and also employed as a weapon. It is often included in weapon training segments of martial arts. Sometimes referred to as kai or double kai. Before being improvised as a weapon, the kama was widely used throughout Asia to cut crops, mostly rice. Kamas are typically used in pairs, and are sold either sharpened or unsharpened. Because the Okinawan working class was so familiar with using the kama as a farming implement, when the ruling class confiscated their weapons, it was an easy transition to use the kama as a weapon. The use of kamas in traditional martial arts tournaments is very popular because their unique shape and size. Number 4. The Trishul. Trishul is a trident, a divine symbol, commonly used as one of the principal symbols in Hinduism. In India and Thailand the term also often refers to a short-handled weapon which may be mounted on a staff. But unlike the Okinawan sai, the Trishul is often bladed. The name Trishul ultimately derives from the Sanskrit word Trishula, meaning 3 stakes, referring to the weapon's 3 prongs. It is wielded by the god Shiva and is said to have been used to sever the original head of Ganesha. Durga also holds a Trishul, as one of her many weapons. The 3 points have various meanings and significance, and, common to the Hindu religion, have many stories behind them. They are commonly said to represent various trinities: creation, maintenance, and destruction, past, present, and future. The weapon is also the favorite of the Greek god Poseidon, and is shown wielded by Jason Momoa in the film Aquaman. And also appears in painting of gladiators of the Roman Empire, wielding the ancient weapon and fighting to the death. Number 3. The Ringkang. The Ringkang is a type of knife, originating in Aceh, a place in the western province of Indonesia. Originally a fighting weapon, it is most often seen today in the martial art of silat and worn during traditional ceremonies. The Ringkang is slightly L-shaped and has a sharp blade with a slightly convex back. The blade can vary in length from 10 to 50 centimeters. The blade can be straight or cranked like a kris. It is held in a scabbard of wood, ivory, horn, or sometimes even silver or gold. The Ringkang is worn on one's belt around the waist. The design of a Ringkang depends largely on the social status of its owner. The most common type is made of brass or silver steel, with a sheath of wood or buffalo horn. The Ringkang is worn on the left side and drawn with the left foot forward. A quick step forward with the right foot adds momentum to the thrust. It is then whipped to the right with a snap of the hand, bringing the palm upwards while the elbow is close to the body. The thrusting arm is almost fully extended and the palm is turned downward just before piercing the throat, kidneys, groin, and chest. Number 2. The Urumi. The Urumi is a sword with a flexible whip-like blade, originating from the Indian subcontinent in modern-day Kerala and Sri Lanka. It is thought to have existed from as early as the Sangam period. It is treated as a steel whip, and therefore requires prior knowledge of that weapon as well as the sword. For this reason, the Urumi is always taught last in Indian martial arts such as Kalaripayattu. The Urumi is handled like a flail arm but requires less strength since the blade combined with centrifugal force is sufficient to inflict injury. As with other soft weapons, Urumi wielders learn to follow and control the momentum of the blade with each swing, thus techniques include spins and agile maneuvers. These long-reaching spins make the weapon well suited to engage multiple targets at once. The Urumi hilt is constructed from iron or brass and is identical to that of the talwar, complete with a crossguard and frequently a slender knuckle bow. The typical handle is termed a disc hilt from the prominent disc-shaped flange surrounding the pommel. The pommel often has a short decorative spike-like protrusion projecting from its center. Multiple blades are often attached to one handle. Number 1. The lightsaber. Number 1. The Zulfiqar. The Zulfiqar is an Arabic word which means cleaver of spine. It is the sword of Ali ibn Abi Talib. It was historically frequently depicted as a scissor-like double-bladed sword on Muslim flags, and it is commonly shown in Shia depictions of Ali, and in the form of jewelry functioning as talismans as a scimitar terminating in 2 points. There are different perceptions about the arrival of Zulfiqar. Some think that in the Battle of Badr Hazrat, Muhammad broke a branch of tree, and with the miracle the branch was transformed into Zulfiqar. Few think that it was sent by Allah, through Hazrat Jibrail, when Muhammad prayed to help Hazrat Ali, in the Battle of Kandak. The Holy Imam owned about 9 swords like Azab, al-Badr, and al-Hataf, and from which 8 were kept in the Topkapi Museum of Turkey, and 1 in Cairo, Egypt. But Zulfiqar was not found anywhere. Few believe that after Imam Hussein died, it was passed on to his sons, or according to some, it was returned back to Allah.
Thanks for watching. Check out these cool videos from the Curious Pug we are sure you would like. Leave a like and comment what you think, in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to the Curious Pug and ring the bell icon to get notified about the latest updates from the Curious Pug.